Moana is back 10 years after its original, 2 years after its sequel, with the latest live action from Disney. I've finally seen it. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome to the video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the latest live action from Disney. It's the live action Moana. It's in cinemas across the UK right now. I've finally seen it. It's taken me over 2 weeks, but I've finally seen it. Before we start talking about it, as always, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts. Don't let this dictate whether or not you go and see it. You might see it, feel totally differently to me. That is okay. Movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without any further ado, we start talking about this film. And as far as Disney live action remakes go, I'm very hit and miss with them. There are some that I really like, some that I'm not that fussed about. And this was fine. It's pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the original 2016 version of Moana, which is fine. And if they had altered it slightly, it would have also been fine. But the trouble is, Disney can't necessarily win. If they change it from the original, they get moaned about. If they keep it exactly the same, they get moaned about. So they kind of can't win. But as far as it goes as a live-action remake, it's fine, it's enjoyable. If I was going to choose to watch Moana, I would still watch the 2016. But I think for me, the biggest problem with this film is the timing just doesn't work. You know, the original only came out 10 years ago. The sequel came out less than 2 years ago. And it just seems like a bit too much too quickly. We've just had the sequel. Now we've got a remake. It just doesn't feel like this has been planned very well in terms of its release, and maybe that's because the sequel to Moana was originally meant to be a Disney Plus series. I don't know, maybe that's why they didn't really account for it, but I just don't think it necessarily worked. I think the Moana novelty is slightly worn off because we've just all kind of had a come down from the sequel. That's my biggest flaw with this, but I think in terms of the film and the actual live action remake, it's fine, it's enjoyable, all the songs are there. The new song during the end credits is brilliant. I love the fact that they got the original Moana to sing it over the end credits. I think that's a really gorgeous song by Lin-Manuel Miranda. You know, it's good. I don't necessarily see why it had such a huge budget. 250 million seems a lot of money for this because it just doesn't look that impressive. It looks very lifeless, very emotionless, I thought some of the actors were, and I hate to be critical and I don't want this to come across very rude, but I didn't necessarily think that Catherine, I can't remember her surname, who they cast as the live action Moana, I don't necessarily think she fitted the brief very well. I don't think she brought much to the character. The same thing I'll say for the mum. I thought that was also quite a bland performance. I thought throughout this film, the problem with a lot of it was the performances were quite bland, were quite dry, were quite boring. And I think compared to the 2016, and obviously that's animated, obviously it's going to be vibrant with loads of colours, with loads of emotion and stuff. But I just don't think it really compared. It wasn't quite on the same scale. And I think that's kind of where the sort of problems for this film came, because you have to compare it to the original, don't you? You know, if you're going to do a remake, you're of course going to be constantly in comparison to the original version of the film that you're trying to recreate in live action form. And obviously it's a live action version, so we're not going to have all these pretty flowers on top of a mountain. Like, it's not going to be that. But if you literally do a shot by shot comparison from the original to this new remake, it does just look a little bit boring and a little bit lifeless. And I think that's kind of why everyone loves Moana so much. Does it feel like a bit of a cash grab? Yes, it does, because Moana, it's the most streamed movie on Disney Plus. Of course, they're going to try and milk the Moana brand. They're going to make a sequel. They're going to make a third installment to the animated series, to the animated movie series. Of course, they're going to want to make a live-action remake, which is what they've done now. Is it necessary? No. Is it a worthy live-action remake? Yes. Like, it's not a bad film. I don't want this to come across like it's a bad film, but it has its flaws, and it doesn't compare to some of the other live action remakes, like Lilo and Stitch, for example, last year I thought was a phenomenal live action remake, and now they're making a live action sequel to that, which is going to differ from the original one. But you know, they're on two different scales, and I just think this Moana didn't necessarily live up to its original. So yeah, that's kind of my problem with this. Other than that though, if you're looking for a live action remake of Moana that is pretty much the same, then yes, it's fine. But I just don't think it quite reached the same level as the original, which is my problem with this film, and I think a lot of it comes down to the kind of dry colours of it, but also kind of some lifeless performances from the actors, which is not a criticism. Maybe that's just the way they wanted to go down this route for this live action remake. But yeah, I think that's my problem. And I think for me, and I think with a lot of people I've read online, if they're gonna watch Moana, they're gonna watch the 2016 version, and that does make sense because it's got more life to it, and I think that's kind of what you want when you watch a Disney film. But like I say, to reiterate like 3 or 4 times, it is a good remake. It's not their best, it's not their worst. It's one of them in the middle that's fine. So there you go. That's what I've got to say on the new live action Moana. It's in cinemas across the UK right now. I don't know for how much longer though, because I hopped onto this film quite late, but it's fine. I've got around to it, and here's my movie review. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Before I wrap up this movie review, what do I rate out of 10? Will it join my DVD collection? It's getting a 6 out of 10. I feel like I've been very critical, but it is a good film, so it's worthwhile with a 6 out of 10. Will it join my DVD collection? Yes, it will. I've pretty much got every single live action Disney movie on DVD. I've got an extensive Disney collection. I think one of the only notable Disney live action DVDs that I don't have is 102 Dalmatians. Really didn't like that film, so that's why. But there you go, there's my thoughts on Moana. Like I say, in cinemas across the UK right now. In the description below is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. It features every single movie review that I've ever done. More to come soon, including the newest version of Animal Farm. I'll have to say that tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that very soon. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. The sun is shining. I'll see you in another video, and hopefully another movie review very soon.